Hey, welcome. So, have you ever thought about investing, but then you see all the jargon and crazy charts and just shut down? Well, this one's for you. We're going to cut through all that noise and build your very first investing toolkit step by step.
So let's just jump right in. When you really boil it all down, getting started with investing really just comes down to two big ideas. Seriously, that's it. And once you get these two things, everything else just kind of clicks into place.
And here they are. The whole thing's about understanding the difference between tools and containers. Think about it this way. You need to know what to buy, that's your tool, and you need a place to put it, that's your container. Getting this one distinction right from the very beginning is probably the most important first step you can take.
So, to be super clear, the tools are the things you actually buy. Stocks, funds, the stuff that's designed to grow your money. The containers are just the accounts where you hold those tools. The tool is what does the work, but the container can give it special powers, especially when it comes to taxes. Let's start with the tools first.
Okay, so let's think of your investment account like a restaurant. You sit down, you get a menu, and you have a few different things you can order. So what are the main courses on this menu?
First up, you can order a la carte. This means buying individual stocks. When you buy a stock, you're buying a tiny piece of an actual company. Now, if that one company does amazing, your reward could be huge. But the risk is just as big. If it goes belly up, you could lose everything. You have literally zero diversification here.
Or instead of ordering a la carte, you could get the combo meal. And these are things called mutual funds and ETFs. Instead of buying just one thing, you're buying a whole basket that already holds hundreds, sometimes thousands, of different investments all at once. And just like that, you've solved that huge risk problem from the last slide. You get instant diversification.
So, let's break this down real quick. As you can see, both mutual funds and ETFs give you that awesome basket with built-in diversification. That is their superpower compared to single stocks. But if you look closer, you'll spot some key differences. ETFs trade all day long just like a stock, while mutual funds only trade once at the end of the day. But here's the real kicker, especially for a new investor. Look at the cost. ETFs typically have way lower fees, and that efficiency is a big reason why they've become so incredibly popular.
So we've got our tools, but even within the world of these funds, there's a specific strategy that all the data shows is just far and away the most effective for long-term success. It turns out, winning isn't really about picking the perfect stock. It's about choosing the right strategy.
And this all comes down to a big battle between two core ideas. On one side, you've got active management. We'll call this the hero approach. This is where some brilliant fund manager handpicks stocks, trying to be smarter than everyone else to beat the market. And for that expertise, they charge you pretty high fees. On the other side, you've got passive management, the humble approach. It doesn't try to be a hero at all. It just wants to match the market by buying a little bit of everything in a big index, like the S&P 500. And it does this for incredibly low fees.
Now, it seems kind of obvious, right? You'd want the expert, the hero, managing your money. I mean, someone who gets paid a lot of money to find those hidden gems. But what does the data actually tell us? Who really comes out on top in this game? Well, this is pretty shocking. Over the long haul, a staggering 85% of these highly paid expert heroes actually fail to beat the simple, low-cost market average. Just let that sink in for a second. In the vast majority of cases, you're paying higher fees for a result that is, on average, worse. And this brings us to the most important takeaway. Instead of paying a ton of money to play a game that even the experts consistently lose, you can just buy the whole market with a cheap, passive index fund. By doing that, you guarantee you'll get the market's return, which means you will automatically beat the vast majority of the pros. You win by simply refusing to play their losing game. All right, so we've picked our winning tool, a simple, low-cost index fund. Now we've got to choose the right container to put it in. And trust me, this choice is every bit as important as picking the tool itself.
So why does the container matter so much? It all boils down to one powerful, wealth-destroying or wealth-building word: taxes. The type of account you choose literally determines how your money is taxed, and that can make a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime.
So here are the two main containers for a new investor. You've got your standard taxable brokerage account. It's super flexible, no limits on what you can put in, but you pay taxes on your growth every year. But now, look to the left. Look at the Roth IRA. Your growth is completely tax-free, and when you take it out in retirement, also completely tax-free.
Yeah, there's a limit to how much you can put in, but that tax-free superpower is an absolute game changer.
Seriously, this tax-free growth is a genuine superpower, especially if you're young. Why? Because you have decades and decades for your money to grow and compound without ever having to give a single penny of that growth to the taxman. Let's see how it works.
The rule is actually super simple. First, you have to have earned income, so money from a job. Then, you can contribute up to the annual limit, or up to the total amount you earn that year, whichever one is less. So, if a teenager makes $4,000 from a summer job, their max contribution for that year is $4,000. Easy.
Okay, I can literally hear you thinking this right now. This sounds great, but it's a retirement account. What if I need that money for an emergency or a down payment on a house? I can't lock it up for 40 years. And you know what? That is a completely valid fear, and it's probably the #1 reason people hesitate.
But this is the Roth IRA's secret weapon. This is its absolute killer feature. The rule is you can pull out every single dollar you personally contributed at any time for any reason with zero tax and zero penalty. It's only the earnings, the growth on top of your money, that has to stay put into retirement to get that tax-free benefit. This incredible flexibility turns the Roth IRA into the perfect hybrid account. It's both the ultimate retirement tool and a penalty-free backup savings fund.
And there you have it. See? Investing doesn't have to be this big, scary, complicated thing. It really just comes down to knowing your tools and your containers. We learned that the winning tool is often a super simple, low-cost index fund. And the ultimate container, especially when you're starting out, is that flexible and powerful Roth IRA. You now have the fundamental toolkit. You have everything you need to stop waiting on the sidelines and actually start building your future. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?